Yeah. Good to go. First podcast. Welcome. And also first sip of coffee for the day, which is just unbelievable. There's not a better feeling than that, honestly.
Jake still blames me for his coffee addiction.
I did get addicted to caffeine. I'm not putting any names up there for who was there to blame, but a non-specific small little man actually got me heavily indulged in it. So here I am now.
I get called out for being an addict to coffee, but I think you have the same amount, if not more.
Yeah, well, it's debatable, but yeah, look, you're right. I'm no better than anybody else. You're right, and I'm addicted to caffeine. So,
aren't we all?
Exactly. But to be honest, as a PT, I feel like it's almost impossible not to be addicted to caffeine.
Especially when you wake up early, you got to work like face to face. Then you want to get in the lappy, and then if you want to train yourself,
yeah,
like whether you want to be alive for your clients, be alive for the lappy work, or be alive for your actual sesh, I think you need a bit of caffeine in you.
Yeah, there's especially that, I call it like the graveyard, about 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. where like, oh no, I reckon it's about 5 to 6:30 where like, I don't know, sometimes I just like, I'm screwed at that time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how big or little of a day I had, that's that grace period where like I'm struggling to get up and about for my clients. Sometimes.
Yeah, I struggle with anything past 6 p.m. I do struggle with.
Yeah.
And
I find at like 7:30, I get a second wind for some reason every time.
Yeah, interesting.
I'll be tired until then, and then when 7:30 hits, I'm like, it's that late that I can't be tired. Like,
yeah, overtired almost.
Yeah.
But you tend to have more arvo or late shifts than me, I find.
Yeah. Wonder why that is.
I don't know why, but like I try cap it past 6 p.m, but I'll do it when I need to. But
yeah, I say I will cap it by X amount of time, but I will also take anyone at any time. I'm willing to help anyone, so it's like
we do tend to find that.
Yeah.
But what's a cap for you? Like how early will we go?
8:30. 8:30 would be a cap.
You're late, but what about in the morning?
Oh, I've said no to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You?
I've said no to 4. My earliest at the moment is 5. And I try not to do anything earlier than that. But I've had to ask someone else for 4, but I said no.
Yeah, it's too early, dude. You shouldn't even be awake at 4 a.m.
No. Getting up for a 5 a.m. client's hard enough.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But so how's the body? How's the body feeling?
Right now, pretty sore. 2 big days of training. Did a run yesterday, lower body, and then upper today. But overall, feeling really good.
So just general soreness?
Just general soreness, but I think, like I've been thinking about this for a while. I think it's probably the fittest I've been for a while.
Really?
I wouldn't say strongest, but fittest.
Yeah, okay. What, because of all the running?
And then basketball twice a week.
Yeah, true actually. True.
So run Mondays, and then play basketball Wednesday, Friday.
How are the knees?
Good. Yeah, the knees are actually holding up really well.
That's actually surprising considering you're playing basketball twice.
2 years ago, my knees were pretty cooked, so
yeah,
I had to give up basketball. But I wasn't really strength training to probably the best things I could back then. So
yeah. What, you reckon you've leveled up heaps with your strength training?
full lower body, yeah.
Yeah.
Consistency and doing the right stuff.
That's good. It doesn't look it, but sure as hell hearing about it. So
I still got the biggest calves in SJ.
yeah, debatable. But nah, good that the body's going good. The body, yeah, it's all right. Did my string.
Very unlucky.
Second time in a month, just from being too aggressive with rehab. So it's like, what can you do about that? But besides that, honestly, the body feels good. Knees are a little bit tender just because I've been back squatting again.
Yeah.
And quite a lot. I'm not really like gradually easing into it. And plantar fasciitis in the right foot is lingering, but it's manageable. So I don't mind it as long as it stays manageable. Yeah. I don't care.
Have you learnt anything
from
your string?
From the string? Yeah, it's really like imprinted the philosophy I usually take into rehabbing muscles, which is just way too aggressive, and I always do it because like I read the literature and I'm like, okay, this is what it says, but you know, I'm a different beast, I'm a different kettle of fish, so I'm just going to try speed that up by like 3 times the amount.
It's a typical like, you would never get your client to do that?
Yeah. Oh, Yeah. Like, sometimes you see, like, professional sportsmen. So, for example, I had 17 days from the injury to the day I wanted to play.
And I believe you're pretty much done with your sprints when you did it again?
Nah, I was just getting into sprinting and I probably got into it a little bit too quick because I was trying to push to play in 5 games in 5 days, where in reality I should have just waited.
Should have rested a bit.
And if I rested a bit, I'd probably...
very tough.
But yeah, that's what I've learned. I just take a bit too much of an aggressive approach.
Yeah.
Because muscles, like, you can't... I was talking to Steve Gravina about it the other day. You can't...
Your physio?
Yeah. You try to play God. Like, people try to play God, but really, the muscle takes time to heal and time heals all.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what kind of intervention you put in place. You may be able to speed up the process a bit and make it a bit more durable when you get back. But in essence, time doesn't care how good your rehab is because it's basically time dependent.
Yeah. Oh.
So that's a long-winded answer for and what I've learned.
Still, you take that though.
Yeah, what I've learned from my plantar fascia is it's annoying as, and I don't know. I think
no one likes it.
I think I'm gonna have to have it for a while. It usually lingers for a bit. But yeah.
When are you aiming to be back?
For footy, round 6. So I've almost just done my first. No, I've just done my first week.
About to be round 2?
Yeah, round 2. No, round 2 just went. There's a bye this week. Easter weekend bye for the whole comp. And then there's 4 weeks, and we're obviously going to Melbourne, so I'll probably take it easy on the rehabilitation there and enjoy the festivities of Federation Square and everything else that Melbourne brings. But yeah, pretty happy with it. This episode is powered by SJ's, training, community, and everything in between for only $1 a day. Check out our free 7-day free trial now. So, we should probably explain who we are.
Correct. It's probably handy for those listening. Because I know the people we deal with on a daily basis obviously know who we are, how we met.
Well, actually, I don't remember how we met. I was thinking about it before. I don't remember like the specific moment.
I don't remember the specific moment, but I do remember in Year 7 at Colby. We were in the same class, but for some reason we would have been doing the same activity and we were just talking about footy.
I don't remember that, man.
And it was a stereotypical when you're younger, Eagles versus Freo.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if it was a derby at the time or what, but that's probably one of the first memories I have with you.
When was that? 2010. So Freo would have actually been travelling pretty good at that stage. West Coast wouldn't spoon us.
Eagles won the spoon that year. So
that would have been a good combo for me then.
Great combo.
Oh, I don't remember.
But that's the only thing I really remember.
Yeah, okay. I just know that we're friends from school, I guess, but I don't have any recollection how.
Yeah, I think this is it. Being in the same year group.
Probably. Just friends by default.
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay. But who actually are you?
I'm Sam Kimberley. I'm 27 years of age.
It's the big 27 as of last week.
As of last week, so I've joined you in that category.
Yeah.
I'm a PT from Perth. I've always lived in Rocco. And I'm just that guy.
You're that guy? You're that guy?
Plays sports twice a week. He's a PT. Runs his own businesses, 2 businesses.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jake Jans, easy for everyone to say here. Basically exact same replica of this gentleman, 27 years old, personal trainer. What else? That's pretty much it. There's not too much to go on about.
Yeah.
Probably should also talk about what SJ's is.
Correct.
So essentially, SJ's is just a community, a fitness-based community
of like-minded people.
Of like-minded individuals, yeah. So basically, we came up with this idea a year or so ago, and it was, personally for me, it was heavily inspired by just like the lack of outlet to do fun stuff and like healthy things. Like obviously young people in Australia, there's a huge drinking culture and partying culture and stuff like that. So it can be actually pretty hard to like honestly do something chill and fun like play tennis or go to the gym or go watch the sunset or something like that.
Yeah.
Also, while I was traveling overseas solo for quite a while, I really struggled with like essentially being lonely at times. And I was like, I wish there was an outlet where I could just go and like chat to people and be able to like pencil in some sort of plans that I'd enjoy to do and stuff like that. And then we spoke about it and you basically felt the same way from memory. And so we thought like, fuck, we'll just make it.
Yeah, we just want to build the best community that where people come, they're feeling the same, I don't know, aura or energy.
There's a bit of aura about SJ.
Yeah, there is an aura.
Yeah.
People know what to expect. Like, they're coming for this, well, generally on the Saturdays, that's how we created it. You know, we just started doing park sessions on a Saturday.
Yeah, so we'll go back to the start. It originally started from just group fitness sessions, really, at the park. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just started off with our friends.
Yeah. Because that's a thing to do on a Saturday, specifically in summer.
Yeah.
We did it for about 8 to 12 weeks at the beginning.
Yeah.
We did like a summer period, or season 1, you could call it.
Yeah.
And it was a Saturday session followed up by a coffee.
A coffee and a sip and a dip, which is probably the main part of SJ's, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's how we started. And then as we're getting into winter, people were starting to ask, like, what's it going now? Like, is this it until next year? And then so we started to think about ways that we could continue it.
Yeah, and natural progression took its course, and now we're here. It just, naturally was going to progress into this.
Yeah, and that's when we started doing the online stuff. So now we do online programming. Where pretty much everyone's on the same program, and it's just a general approach to training, covering all the basics. Well, not basics, but all the essential stuff. And that way people still feel that community aspect.
Yep. I reckon, honestly, if I'm to explain SJ to someone, it's providing like a good social outlet for basically productivity and enjoying yourself, like doing good things, along with improving physically and mentally as well.
Yeah.
Like the stats don't lie, the ball don't lie. We've got people progressing heaps with their fitness and training performance. Like the amount of people that can do multiple pull-ups now that couldn't even do one pull-up ever, just as an example. Like, so the results are there, and we're just trying to give people a better social life and also help them perform better, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've taught a fair few people, like, just the fundamentals of training.
Yeah.
And, like, the way you approach training with your rest days, the full body splits. Even one of our members messaged me the other day asking about RPE, and they had a crack at what it is, and they're pretty much right.
Yeah.
Whereas they've never heard of that before. So it's just, I think being able to teach people that is pretty cool.
You honestly forget as a PT, like sometimes how little people know about training, or their lack of knowledge of like pretty simple basic things.
Yeah.
Which is something SJ's actually taught me a little bit as well, is that, like you just expect people to know these basic things, but then they don't. And they're like things like RPE, which will like hugely benefit your training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just whether it generally is people who've never really trained before, or if they've never come from a training background, not particularly the gym, whether it's like team sports. And that's what I think the benefit of SJ is, teaching people all that. And then they're like essentially having that, like people love team sports because of that environment they get. That's what I think SJ is really good for.
Yeah, you
people
can't,
come for that environment.
You struggle to replicate that team environment.
Like some people come, they might not be actually training, but they'll come just for, like for example, Christy the other week. She wasn't coming to do the hit sesh, but she just came to chill.
Yeah. No,
So that aspect, like people want to be a part of it.
You're right. I'd argue even almost the most extravagant part of SJ's is the coffee after the Saturday sesh. Like, we literally get people coming almost every week that aren't even involved just for the coffee.
Yeah, especially like...
Imagine if they trained.
I know.
But yeah, in a nutshell, that's what it is. So we were just talking about like the average person essentially. So what's the reality of an average person training, and like how often they can get to the gym and stuff like that?
So the reality is that people work, people have busy lives, whether it's family, kids, partners, any other social aspect. And I don't know about you, but we've talked about this before, where you catch up with someone who wants to train with you, and generally they want to get gun blazing.
Yeah.
From the start.
Out the gates hard.
They want to come 5 to 6 days a week. They say they're going to do all these different things, and they're just going to flip their whole life around, which is great, and I love when that they're keen. But you got to factor in, like, what do you do for a job? Is it physical? Is it, I don't know, are you working 10-hour days? Are you traveling to work? How often can you actually get to the gym that's going to fit in with your schedule, that's going to make it enjoyable?
Yeah.
Because I think if it's becoming like a chore, or like it's painful to get to the gym, that's just when people fall off.
Yeah, especially that like gen pop that's not fascinated by training. But like in an essence, training is just repetition over and over and over and over again. Like, think about our gym, right? And think about the people you see there every week, right?
It's the same people.
They're always doing the same shit.
Yeah. Always
doing the same shit, and they're still going because they have intrinsic motivation. You know, yeah. They're not like a lot of people always worried about. This is a thing we get on SJs where people are like, oh, like day 1 and 3 are like so similar. I really would like to switch it up, and it's like, well, to get good at lifts, you got to do this.
Practice it. Yeah.
Like you practice it 4 times a month, you might get better at it. You practice it 8 times a month, you're going to get way better at it.
Yeah.
And way stronger.
And that's another thing, going back to what we were talking about before, what we've talked with SJs too, about repetition.
Yeah.
About why we have day 1 and day 3 similar.
Yeah.
I know that was a bit backtrack, but
it's true, and that's what I mean. Like, yeah, being able to train is obviously a multifactorial thing, like you said, and you can't go guns blazing. But there's you got to find the middle ground between like considering all the factors, and then like finding a good spot where you can train, say like 3 times a week, but then just locking in and training.
Yeah, and committing to that.
And it's like, okay, I'm going here to do this same thing I've been doing because I'm trying to chase a specific outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
People can get fixed on, quick fixes and all that, but
yeah,
like how you get results is consistency.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Consistency with the gym, the stuff you do outside of the gym, and just keep showing up.
Yeah,
unfortunately, there's no real way around it.
You see people on Instagram all the time, especially that bold, weird-looking dude that swears heaps.
Yeah.
Non-specific guy. Like, oh, you should be able to lose 10 kilos in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know how sustainable that is. I have a client that's been working with me for a year, and he's lost 22 kilos or something.
Gee, that's impressive.
In a year. So like, it's not quick.
No.
But it is quick at the same time. But like, the point is it's pretty sustainable. Like I'm pretty certain he's going to be able to keep that weight off forever. Yeah. And he's not just going to like yo-yo diet.
Build good habits.
Yeah.
And that's another thing of the reality of training at the moment, is that people have so many avenues to different things online.
Mm.
So like what we say, but then they see something online and that might go against what we say. And then it can make them confused on what is right.
And then where's your what about having a bullshit monitor? Like a bullshit radar, how do you like distinguish good information from bad information?
Yeah.
Is it like how good someone's rig is? Is it how many like academical achievements they have? Like what is it,
I tend to find generally, I don't know, not how many followers they have, but like, I guess their engagement.
Yeah.
And like who's following them, because obviously there's a lot of people online that we do like, and you tend to find that the people we like will be interacting with them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense?
No, that makes total sense. That's how I kind of approach it as well. But I mean, like, to someone who's pretty unfamiliar with training and exercise and stuff, if they see someone with a like really good rig, they're probably just like, well, he's got a sick rig, or she's got an awesome body, so it's like obviously what they're doing is right.
Yeah.
When in reality, a lot of them are. I don't know if they're very integral or ethical.
Yeah.
It's a weird part of our industry where it's like how much of it is actually really ethical to the point of like very open and honest and transparent selling of a product that is...
Yeah, like, do they actually care for you, or do they just want your money?
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of the time, it's just, they just want your cash.
Yeah, like, that dude that literally stole James Smith's video word for word.
Yeah, that was correct. And he did it again.
But he's got heaps of followers. He's making heaps of money. And he's literally, like, just...
And he didn't really care. He explained why he did it.
Yeah. That's it. Is that the world we live in now? Where you're just like, oh yeah, I did that.
But I could not do that.
I felt like doing it, so it's like whatever. And everyone's like...
I don't get how people...
Yeah, you got a good rig though.
Yeah, but I just don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't sleep at night if I did that.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like, there's a whole... You can't... Every idea is out there already. There's not a idea that's not been put out into this world, but it's a matter of, like, how you actually, like...
And I think it's important...
Put that out.
As PTs and coaches, that when a client or someone say they come across something and they might really enjoy it, might not be what we agree with, or they might not have to do it to get where they want to be, but not to shut them down so quick.
Yeah, well, that's
that nocebo effect, that because you don't want to turn them off, or like, I don't know, it might not actually benefit them, but it benefits them because they enjoy it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if one of your clients tells you something, they're like, oh, I saw this, and you know it's just blatantly wrong, like literally, do you just tell them?
I'll just ask, depending what it is. If it's something extreme that, like, is this complete bullshit? Yeah. But I generally break it down and say, like, I don't know, if they're actually doing it and they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
I might say, like, yeah, great, do that. You don't have to do it, but if you're enjoying it, keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'll try to, like, approach it from the position of, like, okay, is this having any detriment to their life?
Yeah.
Okay, if you tick that off, it's not that bad, really. Yeah. If it's not causing any detriment to their life, then it's like whatever. And then it's like, okay, so how much benefit could it potentially have? Like, I don't know. Say someone says, like, if you walk in a certain heat or something during the summer, it'll make you burn fat. Well, maybe that's just going to up their steps more.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not doing what it says it's doing, or whatever bullshit marketing ploy they're trying to put across. But if it's making them walk more, then it's like, okay, it's not that bad if you believe that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not going to tell you that.
And that's something that I've learnt. Well, I've only been in PT for 2 years now, but at the start, I think I would have, like, been quickly to, like, jump on them and like, nah, don't do that, don't need to do that. But then now, as you learn, like, I don't know, if someone wants to do something and it's not really, like you said, having a negative effect on their training or them, just let them do it. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. And then just explaining it to them. Yeah, that's it. You got to break it down and question. It's good to have them question it. Yeah. Just be like, oh yeah, why do you think that? Yeah. Do you think that this happens because of that? And then sometimes they're like, oh, wait a second, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Yeah. As long as that, that's good. But you're not the one going like, nah, what you heard's wrong, like, you got to be better. It's just like getting them to kind of question it and have some critical thinking. Yeah. The world lacks critical thinking, I reckon. Jump. Talking about opinions, here's one here from yours truly. Steps isn't cardio. Yeah, it doesn't sit right with me. Yeah, I'll be honest, I used to fucking hate people like going walking and being like, oh yeah, I worked out, I went for a walk. Just did my cardio session. Yeah. Like, I know you can say that for some people it does hit the desired heart rate, and they're obviously getting a benefit for it, and walking is obviously great. A 70-year-old is going to get great benefits from walking, but that's very different to like a very healthy 20-year-old, you know? Yeah, like, I think if you're strength training and you say you're doing your cardio, like, I don't know, just make it a bit more intense. Oh, or like go for a run or go for a ride. The reason why people track steps is because steps is so easy to track. Yeah. You do X amount of steps a day, you're going to burn very identical calories with every step, right? And it's that number, that hot, because everyone always wants to hit 10,000. Yeah. But where did 10,000 come from? Like,
I don't know. So I reckon a study from back in the day,
But like,
probably.
no one's like, oh, you got to hit 70 kilos bench press for this. But then with steps, it's like, you got to hit 100 steps. I know it's good because it's a whole number. And
well, that's it. It's just because it's easy to track.
it.
I always say to people, I'm like, fuck, man, you can cycle, you can hike, you can rock climb, you can ride a skateboard, you can rollerblade, you can swim. There's about 1 billion things you can do that are more fucking interesting than walking, and walking for an objective target of 10,000 K.
It's like they get angry if they don't. If they don't do it.
Like,
and would they do it if they don't have their phones or watches? Like.
Well, yeah, that's the exact same Euro hot girl summer philosophy. Is if they got to the gates, let's say, to walk into Germany, and then they were like, oh yeah, you can come through, but just before you come in, just want to sign this document saying that you can't post on Instagram that you came here. I reckon 90% of chicks would literally just turn straight back around to Fitzroy.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
That's the exact. If someone was like,
it's true.
Oh yeah, you can't post your like steps, or I don't know, that's a bit extreme, but
and saying that, it does help people, so it is good.
Yeah.
Like, it's good that people do that. Great, and it's helping them. But yeah, it's a funny one that sits with me.
That's the pros. The pros are it's very, very easy to track and easy to manage walking. It is. It's just super easy.
And especially where people are at.
Yeah.
In their training, like if they've been doing nothing, definitely start with just walking and then build up into that.
Yeah.
But if one of my clients is like, for a while, that all they're doing for cardio is steps, we'll try to encourage a bit more.
Or like go to a park.
Yeah.
Or the beach. Like make it interesting.
What do you think about walking on the treadmill?
Oh.
I don't know how credit people how they do it, but I just don't know how.
Well, you can obviously utilise watching content like YouTube and Netflix and stuff. That's where it makes sense. If someone's like, look, I'm going to fucking sit at home and watch Netflix, I may as well walk and do it. That makes sense, but you wouldn't catch me doing it. Like, no way ever, I don't think.
When the beach is 5 minutes away?
Unless I've never ran on a treadmill even. Like, I think I did when I was a kid a couple times, but since I've joined gyms, I've never ran on a treadmill just because, like, why would you not run outside?
Yeah. We're pretty lucky, obviously, with our weather.
And where we live.
Like, we live right next to the beach. It's genuinely quite sunny.
World-class beach, always decently sunny usually.
So we are lucky in that aspect. Like,
but when I stay in Bosnia with my family, no offense to Bosnia, but like it's not as beautiful as here. But I still go. You
still did it. Yeah, you can still always do it.
Yeah.
But people, I guess, were just a bit more encouraged, or it's easier to do it. Yeah. Compared to people, I don't know, living in England in winter.
I was in England for 4 days in winter once, and I went for a run.
How was that?
It's good. It was actually it was one of my favourite runs ever, because I think it was one of my first ever international runs.
Oh yeah. And
it was like, I don't know, how cold does it get around Christmas in London?
Yeah, it would have been freezing.
So it was like early morning, maybe like I don't know how early because the sun doesn't come up anyways, but the sun wasn't up. Cold as just a t-shirt and shorts, and just I think I did a 6K plot.
Tell that.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
It's good.
But yeah, I don't know. It would be terrible in like Scandinavia when the sun doesn't come up for like 2 months or whatever.
I couldn't live there.
An hour a day.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, but now we're opening a whole new can of worms. But this pod is powered by SJ's Community, where lifting, laughing and living better all collide. Check out our 7-day free trial via the show notes or in our Instagram. Here's a scenario question. What are you doing if you rock up to a 5 a.m. sesh and no one's there?
The no-show client?
Yeah.
What can you do?
I'll just do the same thing I always do as of right now. It's just go on with my day.
Yeah, you just sit into the office and just dwell on life.
Yeah.
And just maybe depending if you go to bed late.
The 5 a.m. one sucks though. Like
that is a real kick in the guts. 5 a.m. is the worst.
Mate, you wanna know what it feels like to be kicked while you're down? It's 5 a.m. Yep, so a bit of technical difficulties. We didn't realise that the camera has a 30-minute maximum recording time. So sadly and really gut-wrenchingly, we've probably just talked to each other for about 50 minutes and not got any of it recorded. So I didn't know that cameras had a max recording time.
Yeah, and you did ask ChatGPT.
I referred to ChatGPT. I was asking questions. They were like, why aren't you telling me about your day? Why aren't you telling me about your crush? And I was like, I don't want to talk to you about that right now. I just want to talk about business. So I did refer to ChatGPT. And yeah, they didn't say anything. So,
but we just keep going.
Exactly.
We learn from this, and now we know. So.
And there's no way in hell I'm going to stop talking to ChatGPT.
No,
because that's like
it's pretty handy.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on ChatGPT at the moment, to be honest? Like, just the frequency of usage and, like, just how big it is.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, you just don't want to... People do rely on it.
Oh, I find myself day by day relying even more heavily on it.
It's scary. Like I do it too. And don't get me wrong, it's so handy and it's anything. But I think the more we try not to rely on it, obviously the better.
The better. Man, I'm asking it everything, you know.
Like, instead of, like, it's so easy just to, without thinking, just ask ChatGPT.
Straight, mate. I'm talking to ChatGPT. How was your day? Ask me how my day was, ChatGPT.
Nothing wrong with that, though.
Yeah. So ChatGPT, this is what my love life's looking like. What do you think? And then
it spirals down a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Usually, ChatGPT will give me some some reinforcement in my life.
That's good.
Like, if I'm a little bit worried about anything, ChatGPT will be like, "You're a big, strong boy. You know, you got this, man." And I'm like, "Thanks, computer."
Thanks, man.
So,
do you refer to it as a
they?
As a they?
Well, I personally, I think of ChatGPT as a girl for some reason, or a woman.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's because Siri's voice was a woman originally, and that, like, I just put Siri's voice and ChatGPT, like, put 2 and 2 together. But obviously...
See, I've never done that, but that does make sense.
Yeah. What do you refer to it as?
Oh, it's just ChatGPT.
But what is the pronouns that you use?
I just say it. I call it it, yeah.
It's going to be pissed off when it takes over the world. Yeah. It's going to go straight to you and be like, you fucking...
It's going to remember that.
Being. So yeah, let's talk about what we just talked about again. Melbourne trip. We're heading to Melbourne.
Yeah, you head to Melbourne tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow evening, yep.
With Mickey Hall racing?
Mickey Hall, yep, he's racing in the Stowell Gift, which is pretty cool. It's a big athletics event in Melbourne, kind of country Melbourne, about 2 hours.
On grass.
Melbourne. On grass as well. So it's a handicapped race that he's competing in. He'll compete in the 100 and the 120 and possibly the 60 metres. And I believe he's handicapped for the 126 metres and he's handicapped for the 100's 10 metres, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck. Because a lot of cash for grabs.
A lot of cash, 40 grand or 40 or so grand for the 120 metre winner. It's a real big deal. Like,
yeah. It's going to be a sick experience for both of you. Like, because it's obviously a big event.
Yeah, Gout, you know, Kennedy should both be racing. And so I think, honestly, I'd really love it if he got to race against those two just because that would be an awesome experience.
Athletics is so big right now.
Yeah, athletics is so big right now and obviously Gout and Kennedy should be racing. So if he can just race, if he gets to race against one of those two or both, like, even though obviously they're really fucking good runners.
Yeah,
and to
but
beat them
just for him to say that he raced against either of them two.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Considering where they're at in their career and where they might get to.
Yeah.
It's a damn cool thing to say, so.
Yep, and hopefully he has that, like... You remember that dude at the Winter Olympics in the ice skating? When they're all doing... You know that circle ice skating where you just circle around, you're racing each other?
Oh, the Australian guy?
The Australian guy where
who won it?
They all fell over and he won?
What's his name again?
I forgot, but he's a legend.
Yeah, good guy.
If that can just happen with Mickey...
That'd be sick.
With those two?
Imagine that.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be sick.
Mickey Hall gets the choggies.
Yeah. But, yeah, like you mentioned, Australian athletics is insane at the moment.
Which is awesome to see, so...
Especially sprinting.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we're still good in other areas, like Nina Kennedy and stuff, pole vaulting. It's like, obviously, she won gold at the last Olympics, but, like... Yeah, Kennedy and Gout now, and old mate that was counted out.
He was at the Olympics, yeah.
He was counted out and he's just won the Nationals. So, like, You got 3 world-class sprinters from Australia who honestly, that they can race in the final at the Olympics for sure.
It's very good to see.
You just hope that Goat can continue with that like progress and not have any like crazy disruptions or...
Leading up to what? Next Olympics LA, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome to go to.
And then it's Brisbane.
Vegas, yeah.
So if Goat can just continue on his way, it's just exciting.
Yeah, I mean,
what he can get
if
to.
Goat and SJs can both progressively
On the same linear line.
to the point where Goat goes to LA Olympics and then we also somehow get to go to the Olympics for work.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be sick, but yeah,
You just hope.
He's got that, like, he just obviously looks like he does have that mental resilience and fortitude at the moment, and he's built to sprint. Like,
Yeah. And he just seems like he speaks well.
Yeah, he speaks really well for like a 17.
Considering how much pressure he has for how young he is.
Yeah.
So.
But that's the thing with sprinting, man. It's like anything can happen when you sprint. You can be the best sprinter in the world, but the main race at the Olympics, the final, like, you might not start well.
Yeah, because start is so critical. Because you've only got, 9 seconds?
Dude, there's so much...
100-meter sprint.
There's so much critical parts of it. Like, you have to hit flight well. You have to be relaxed enough when you're in flight to continue with that speed. You have to start really well. Like, all these factors contribute. It's crazy. It's crazy that these sprinters can regularly just...
Show up
and do it. And do it, like, at a very high level.
But that's what they're training for. Just for that moment. But it's crazy because it all comes down to that moment.
I know, and even at the last Olympics, like, really Noah Lyles didn't get a great start, and he still won. He won by like the fucking, not even the length of a bee's dick, man. Really, he won because he leant over. Yeah, so it's like...
But he didn't win the 200, did he?
No, he didn't because he had COVID.
Who won it again?
Can't remember. I think it was that Canadian guy, but... Yeah, he still came third with COVID. Like, that's good.
Yeah, you take that if you're sick.
But yeah, I'd love to see Goat race against them at the moment, and obviously Kennedy now like is elite. So
no, it's good. It's good for Australian running. So
yeah, so that's
exciting to see where it will go.
Yeah, that should be a good event. The gift, that'll be cool to see all them race and stuff on grass too, especially in a country town. So everyone's in the same small country town.
Pretty
so
cool,
like. Yeah, everybody will kind of be talking to each other and stuff like that, which will be cool. But I guess that's why we're going. We made a work trip out of it.
Yeah, so you're obviously going for you leave tomorrow, and then I come in pretty much a week later.
Yeah.
And then we're heading down to the day I get there, the old red-eye flight, go see Jamie Smith at Strength Culture.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Who we both learnt a lot of. I've done his courses.
Yeah.
It's just he knows his shit.
Yeah.
Whether it's to do with business or just coaching.
Yeah.
So to pick his brains for an hour or two.
I can't wait to chew his ear off. And being able to, like, I'd love to see him point out, like, biomechanical issues or disadvantages or something in real time and be like, okay, your bones should actually be sitting in this kind of place. It should look like this, and this is how you can change it.
Yeah.
Seeing that in person would be good, because sometimes I struggle with that. Like,
it's a learning off him because he knows so much about in that area.
Yeah.
So just be able to pick his brains.
How old is he?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
30 odd?
Yeah, so he's got the reps in. I'd also love to talk to him about, because he did internships and stuff in America too.
Yeah, which he loved.
Yeah.
And then he used to work for Carlton.
Yeah.
So he's done a bit of all sorts, which is going to be good to ask him that type of stuff.
Yeah. No, that'll be sick. And Anzac Day game.
Yeah, so we got tickets. You, myself, and Big Marns.
Big Marns, yep.
So Marns gets to experience the first big game of footy. And hopefully the Dons get up. Even though, to be honest,
I don't care who gets up.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of either team. Like, I've never really loved Essendon.
Yeah. What's there to love?
Yeah, like, I just got no real connection to either, so I just hope it's a good game.
Yeah.
And Essendon are playing the Eagles the week before, so they'll probably flog us. So I'll probably be going for Collingwood, to be honest.
That's true, but that might give them that like confidence boost or push.
Yeah.
Flogging you lot.
Pretty much, so.
That's it, and then we'll just, I guess, explore the festivities of Melbourne.
Yeah, the Melbourne CBD.
Hopefully get out to the Werribee Plaza, that'd be nice. Eaglemont, I'd like to check out. Chadstone, would love to go to Chadstone for a bagel.
There's a good pub I went to, the CBD, where I paid $17 for a pint about 3 years ago.
Poor.
So I think now you'd be looking at around $21.
Yeah, that's shocking.
So
that's bad.
We won't be heading there. Jump.
Best athlete of all time?
I can't look past Michael Phelps. He used to swim.
Yeah.
And when I was swimming was when he was in his prime at the Olympics. Particularly that Olympics where I think it was Beijing.
Which one? It was like Beijing, then it was London, then it was...
But it was the one where he really made a name of himself.
Yeah, Beijing.
And he's won 20 odd Olympic medals.
How many is it? I think it's 21.
It's just I just can't look past him. And then obviously you got the other likes of Jordan and all that.
28, dude. That's a lot of medals. 23 gold ones as well.
See, I can't look past that.
A lot of countries have nowhere near that many medals.
No.
Yeah, in general countries.
And that's just one guy.
Yeah. Exactly. It's hard to go past that. Like, objectively, he's that guy. But like you said, MJ, Kobe, LeBron, they're all ridiculously good athletes and like achieved so much too. MJ, 6 finals, six wins and 6 finals MVPs. That's like...
Can't look past that.
That's legit. Not even considering he legit retired and came back. Retired, played baseball, came back.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And his drive to win is just...
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like the things he would use to push himself.
Yeah. Especially some of the stories you hear. Like, I've doing research into patellar tendinopathy. MJ had it hell bad in his prime. To the point where like, yeah, he could barely walk and stuff after games. They were always trying to suck fluid out of his knee, stuff like that.
That's crazy. He just kept going.
He kept going. So that's what I say to people, like, sometimes people have like the smallest tendinopathy and they're complaining, which granted they're allowed to, whatever, it sucks.
Yeah.
But you just got to remember people like MJ in their primes when they were putting up those numbers, winning finals MVP, was dealing with it.
Yeah, like if the drive's there, you can do it. You can get past it.
I'd love to know how his knees are now though, hey? Like, I wonder if that really wrecked him, like just pushing through that.
Yeah, well, speaking of, it's a bit off topic, but do you know Tristan Xerri?
No.
North Melbourne ruckman?
No.
One of the better ruckmans in the modern game right now.
What's his name?
Tristan Xerri or Cherry? You would know him. He wears a helmet. The North Melbourne ruck.
Yeah.
He's dealing with hamstring tendinopathy at the moment.
The shittest one.
But he keeps playing.
Yeah.
Because they keep saying that he's done his string, but now it's come out that apparently it's just... And he's nowhere near where he was last year.
Yeah.
But Clarko every week just keeps playing him. So what do you think of that?
What do I think of it? I don't know, because...
Obviously you don't know the extent of it.
We don't know the extent or the context, but I haven't had it either, and I have dealt with some people that have had it. It's known as like the grandma's tendinopathy.
Yeah. Right.
That's what it's known as. Like patella and Achilles, you usually get, especially patella, from being athletic as. Like, no old person gets patellar tendinopathy. You're not putting enough load through your knee.
Yeah, okay.
Inflection and like explosive load. Achilles, sometimes like a lot of older people get it from walking and stuff, but at the same time it's like really strong. You need shitloads of load and you really feel it. Apparently hamstring just feels like a weird sensation, like I don't know, everyone that's explained it to me has just said it's an annoying feeling. It's not like extremely painful or anything.
So it's quite common for people to push through with it?
From what I've heard, it's not that common of a sporting tendinopathy.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, from what I've heard, yeah, it is pretty common to...
Well, I don't even know if that's actually what he has. I just heard on a podcast today.
Be interesting. It'd be good to look into it, but... I don't know. I've never had it. I hate it. I hate having to deal with it because I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
The glute one. But yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, that was a bit off topic. But going back
to best athletes, for me, probably Floyd Mayweather, just because undefeated.
Yeah, I don't know enough about boxing, but you obviously can't look past that.
Well,
no one beat him.
He's like Phelps. Doesn't matter if you know much about boxing or swimming.
Yeah.
You look at them.
50
all they did was win.
15.
They're probably pretty good. Yeah, like 52 and 0 or something.
It's
51
crazy.
and 0. Yeah, he's insane. Like fighting pro boxers and just never losing, never getting. I don't think he got knocked down.
Yeah.
But he did pick. Like Mayweather was obviously legitimately the best, but he was known for like making really good educated picks for his fights. Like
choosing fights he would know will win.
if him and Pacquiao fought 10 years before they did, that would have been, he might have a blemish on his record. He fought Canelo when Canelo was like really young and made him cut heaps of weight. So like he beat all these guys fair and square, smashed them, smoked them.
In the rules, yeah.
But he really like picked and chose his fights appropriately to help kind of hold that record. But yeah, I'm gonna have to say Novak Djokovic is the GOAT. And I think it's hard to argue almost, to be honest.
He's the man. He's obviously won the titles now.
All the titles, like, yeah, it was a good conversation between him, Nadal and Federer, and now he's
And he just keeps going.
He's just knocked them out the water.
Yeah.
He was injured at the last Oz Open, so he obviously couldn't continue. He still beat that Spanish dude, whatever his name is, injured. So I would have loved to have seen if he wasn't injured because he's the king of the courts in Australia. But yeah, I think Novak Djokovic is hard to go past, hey?
Novak and Phelps for me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Novak.
I'll go Phelps. So.
Oh, and fucking Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah, them two.
Messi and Ronaldo.
Them two little athletes.
Yeah, Messi, 93 goals or whatever in a calendar year. That's...
World Cup.
That will never get done.
Ballon d'Ors.
That'll actually never get done again. 93 in a calendar year, I don't think.
No. What was that? For every game he played?
Every game he played in a calendar year, yeah.
That is a crazy man.
Anybody else from football that you'd even compare them to or no?
Oh, I don't know enough about football, to be honest, but yeah, obviously them two come to mind straight away.
Yeah. Best meal prep or best meal prep cheat codes?
Rice cooker.
Rice cooker is legit.
Is much needed.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes things 10 times easier.
I used to cook all my rice normally, and I refused to get a rice cooker because I was like, nah, fuck it, man, I'm doing it.
It's
doing
cheating
it legit.
But now you need a rice cooker for meal prep and just for everyday life.
Yeah.
So much easier. I've been smashing toasties lately for meal prep.
Yeah, they're easy.
It's just easy. It's just because if you have a toasty maker, whether at your work or whatever, it's just all you need to do is cook something, chicken or whatever, chuck it in the bread or wrap, and then you sort it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's been the easiest things I've had to do.
Yeah.
So for me, like, it's obviously you can get over toasties, but I think a rice cooker and toasties.
You can, but it takes a hot minute.
I love toasties. So
yeah, anything with melted cheese is just...
Yeah, you can't fault.
Nah, I agree. I reckon meal prep cheat codes, definitely a rice cooker. I reckon just meal prepping your protein is a cheat code.
Yeah, definitely.
Because...
Just doing that?
Yeah, if you have that, you can work around it. Like, you can get wraps or bread for carbs. Like, you can get steamed vegetables or something that you can just microwave. As long as you have that protein there and cooked, you're pretty safe.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that protein cooked and then the microwave steamed veg. Put the frozen veg in a container, salt and butter, and just heat it up, and then you're sorted. Yeah,
that's true.
You just got to create the least amount of friction for eating.
Yeah.
Like if you want to meal prep, obviously everybody lives busy lives, and sometimes it's really hard to meal prep, and then you end up like eventually eating out a lot and stuff like that.
I used to be so against meal prep just because of the thought of it, and the thought of eating the same thing for a week, even though it's just one meal a day, pretty much. But it makes life so much easier.
Yeah, I don't get how you can get so bored of eating the same thing.
No, but I thought that until I actually tried it. And then I realised how easy it is.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty happy eating the same thing for lunch every week.
Yeah.
Or brekkie.
I am too, mate. I've been smashing steak and rice for
I've been for
probably
ages.
2.5 months.
And that's at 7 a.m. in the morning too.
Yep.
The steak and rice.
No, usually 6 a.m. client, and then usually I'll have clients until about 9, and then the steak and rice comes out.
And then the ants come out too.
Yeah, it's Ant City in the staff room at the moment.
Yeah.
Not sure why, but that's it. So what's the best meal prep then? So they're cheat codes, but what's the best? I reckon steak and rice is hard to go past, especially buying the big chunk of steak. So you can get like Scotch fillet chunk, like almost 1.5 kilos for $35. Cut it into slices yourself.
Yeah, I've done that. That is good. That I'll break it up to 2. Brekkie has to be a chicken toasty for me. I just can't fault that.
Yeah.
Or wrap. And then for lunch, yeah, either steak or like a chicken.
What,
Chicken,
doubling up on the chicken?
I can happily do that. I don't know, chicken stir fry, or I did a curry the other week. That was pretty good.
You did it?
Yeah.
You made it?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Was it good?
It wasn't the best curry, but
Yeah.
it was good for meal prep.
Yeah.
Did the job. If I gave it to someone who knows their curries, I don't think they'd be too impressed, but
Yeah.
it passed the mark for me. So
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But, yeah, I'll usually cook steak. Barbecue is a...
flame grilled.
The barbecue is a cheat code for meal prepping, mate. If you wanna create the most minimal amount of friction you want with meal prepping, barbecue your proteins, or slow cook it, and then a rice cooker, and you're sorted. Like,
Just because it makes it easier, then you don't have to clean as much.
yeah, literally. I'll cook up steaks, cook up rice, and then usually I'll put some sort of chicken dish in the slow cooker. It'll take me like 30 minutes to cook all that, and then I just got to wait for the slow cooker to be done. And that's it. It takes me 30 minutes to cook it, and then it takes me like 10 minutes to take the stuff out the slow cooker, and you've literally done your meal prep for the week in like all up like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. What puts people off meal prep is probably the aftermath.
Oh, it's fucking terrible having to clean up meal prep, man. I fucking hate it.
Like, it sucks. But, like you said, if you do it on the barbie, it makes it a lot easier.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I wasn't doing it earlier on the barbie. Flame grilled as well. You're not going to beat that taste, man.
Flame grilled.
You
can't. Hungry Jacks weren't lying.
They weren't. You can taste... I don't have takeaway that much, but you can taste the flame grill on the Whopper. You're not getting that from McDonald's.
You can't.
Literally, there's no way in hell. McDonald's always tastes like more artificial than HJ's.
Yeah, because they use just a standard like grill, like hot plate.
But that's it. Meal prep doesn't have to be shit. Meal prep can be fucking hell good.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to...
You don't have to just have chicken and rice.
Yeah, people often associate meal prepping with like boring, bland shit food when it doesn't actually have to be.
I think that's the good thing about Instagram. Like, you do see a lot of like, I don't know, not dietitians or whatever, but like just chefs.
Yeah.
And they'll just show up an easy recipe, and then you can just use that.
Yeah.
As a way to do your meal prep.
That's it. We're living in a good world where you got like a million different... You don't have to go fucking buy a cookbook.
Yeah, you just literally like
just
Google.
Instagram.
I mean, not Google. Just go on Instagram.
Yeah. And treat yourself. Good food. You can get it at a good price if you buy it in bulk.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to use seasonings. Seasonings are your friend. They don't have any calories usually. It just makes food taste better.
Just make it taste good. That way you're gonna eat it.
Exactly. All right. So what have you been listening to at the moment?
Music. What?
Yeah, music, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to break it up between music and podcasts.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry. Music, I just can't not listen to Suicide Boys.
The best.
No matter the time, like, I'll put something else on to change up the vibe, but it's always gone back to Suicide Boys.
It's a cult following. I told you about Suicide Boys ages ago.
Yeah, and I probably skipped over it.
Yeah, but you heard it from that podcast.
No, it wasn't a podcast. It was.
It was the podcast with, what's his name, from Hawthorne.
Oh,
that one where he listens to the music.
Brass and...
Yeah.
McGovern and Brass.
Yeah.
Did a post about it. Yes, sorry.
Oh, okay, that's it. Yeah, the post.
And then that got me listening to them, and now I just can't not.
It's a cult following, man. They've got their own. I always used to say to people, I listened to them and they thought I was joking, but nah, they put you in a good mood, man.
They're good, but when people listen to them, like if they just straight away, like if they hear you listening to them, they won't rate it.
You get shunned as well.
Yeah.
You get put down in society for listening to Suicide Boys.
Yeah, but I don't really care. So.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% on that Suicide Boys train. If they ever come here, we've got to see them. They came over east last year or the year before.
Where are they from? America?
America somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, so that's
SJ Suicide Boys. Yeah, for music. And then podcast. Always change it up. I do always listen to Strength Culture. Their one. Jamie Smith for a while had his own one for a bit.
Yeah, that was good. I listened to that heaps.
And then I do dabble into Angus Bradley's one a bit.
Yeah.
And then I'm a bit of an AFL fantasy nerd.
Yeah,
and
I've heard.
This guy does a podcast once a week and that, so I do listen to that.
Yeah.
How about you?
My music rotation's just Beach House and hers, just recycled on repeat over and over and over again.
No matter the time or what you're doing?
No matter the time, how I feel emotionally, whatever, it's just them always.
In the gym?
Yeah, in the gym, like I was going after it last night, pretty heavy. Barbell back squats to Beach House.
Nice.
Mate, if Beach House fucking come anywhere near me, I'll go see them. If they go to anywhere over east, I'm paying the money. Yeah. I can't miss out. I love them.
Yeah, good.
Besides that, been listening to a bit of Serb music.
Do you know what they're saying?
Kinda, yeah. Some parts I do, some parts barely. I reckon I know like 20% of what they're saying.
Yeah, you just like the vibe.
Like the vibe. Yeah, and besides that, in terms of music, I don't know.
You were hitting Drake for a while.
Oh, Drake, yeah. When Drake
Kanye.
came in and toured, I was listening to Drake quite a bit. He's good. But yeah, they'll always be up there. In terms of podcasts, I've been repping out the Pacey Performance podcast. That's a really good one. It's this guy.
The Irish guy?
I don't know where he's from. I think he's English. But it's powered by this thing called Sportsmith, which is like some sort of strength and conditioning company. But he always has like a lot of rehab stuff and like clinical coaches and stuff like that from professional teams. And
so this is like hearing insights from all different coaches.
Yeah, like for example, he had a couple with Edna King, and he's the guy in Doha. You know how all the AFL players are going to Doha?
Yeah.
They're going to him.
Yeah, okay.
And so he's done a couple on like, I think ACL rehabilitation, how to like make rehabilitation more aggressive and stuff like that. There's like a lot of good shit on there. So if you're ever dealing with something, you can kind of go into that and get an expert's view.
Yeah, that's cool.
But besides that, I've been trying to listen to a few mindfulness ones.
Yeah, nice.
I listened to one with this guy called Galong Thubten. I believe that's how you say his name. Which is good, talking about mindfulness. He's like a mindfulness and meditation coach, and that's helped me be a little bit more mindful.
And does he give you things in the podcast? Like, are you following it? Like, is he giving you practice to do outside of the pod or during the pod?
It's outside of the pod, but he hasn't really given... The only real practice he's given is he just said to breathe and count your breaths in and just keep counting in an ascending order, and he said like usually at 7 people just forget what number they're at and then like restart. But it's more so just literally like practicing mindfulness. So 2 times a day when I eat, I'm just not listening to anything or watching anything. So I'm just eating because
I think that's a really good thing to do because it's so easy to.
Young men nowadays, man. Like if we don't have YouTube when we eat, we basically die.
Yeah.
So just sitting there, and I feel so much.
But there's everyone there. They're watching TV, the radio's on.
Yeah.
Or they're on the phone. But yeah.
Literally, like, yeah, it makes a big difference as well. Because when you eat, you're in that like recovery flight kind of stage, you know, where you're just your body's trying to recover. You're trying to like. become more calm and...
It's just a way of life. Like, eating's a big thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you're eating and you're like just doom scrolling hell hard or like watching YouTube constantly, you're not giving that brain the break it needs.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that, and I've just been going for walks and not listening to anything in my car, not listening to anything. And it's making me feel a bit better, like less tired and stuff.
That's good. It's good that you're actually actioning it.
But besides that, Claro. Smash Claro.
Oh, you love Claro.
Smash Claro. And Maisie Star. I smash them, yeah.
Nice.
But that's it for that at the moment.
Going on to that eating thing though, when like distracted eating, it's actually a thing if people want to lose weight.
Like, to not be distracted?
Yeah, try not to distract eat, because you should just, cause it makes you so much aware of what you're eating.
Yeah.
And you don't just eat something for the sake of it and then 5 minutes later, like, just go grab something else.
Yeah.
So just...
No, that's true actually. That's a good like piece of advice to give people trying to lose weight.
Just be conscious of what you're eating.
Literally.
Enjoy it.
I say that to... Yeah, you need... Yeah. That's the thing.
Enjoy
people are enjoyable. I say that to people that come in that want to lose weight and they're like, I'm not eating... They're adamant they're not eating anything bad.
I always hear that, yeah.
And
obviously they are, but...
Yeah, okay, if you're not eating anything bad, do me a favour, just write down everything you eat.
A quick word from our sponsors, us, SJs. We train, talk shit, and help you move better. You can do the same by checking out our 7-day free trial in the show notes.
Okay, so question time, fan questions. Question 1. If you're in your 40s and you maintain most of the same workout, weight and volume you previously used in your 30s, does this mean you got stronger? Does going against time count as improvement?
1, technically doesn't mean you got stronger, but 2, it's a huge improvement. Like, you're managing what you've been able to do in your 30s, and obviously as you age, you naturally tend to decline in what you're capable of doing physically. So
yeah, you're right. There is a biological clock, right? As you get older, especially into those more advanced ages like late 40s, late 50s, you are going to get a gradual decline in performance. However, like you always hear the statement, people say, back in my day, like when I was 20, I could do that, or I could jump that high back in the day. Or people were like, as soon as I hit 30, I couldn't do that anymore. But realistically, what actually happened was they got a full-time job, they might have had some kids, and they stopped actually moving around as much, stopped playing their sport, and eventually, simply, if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's the case with a lot of people. So,
and you see that with everything, like you get a middle-aged person and they'll see someone just jumping, doing any form of jumping, and they're like, I can't do that. My knees will break. So just give it a crack.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're always so against. They can always be so negative about what they can actually do.
Yeah. So exactly right. Like if you're in your 40s, heading into your late 40s, and you're moving and performing the same way you were in your 30s and moving the same weight, so objective loads, then I think that's a hell of an improvement. Yeah. It's weird because you're not improving, but realistically fighting against your biological clock you are.
Yeah.
Question 2. How can I get more sleep? My body has a hard stop at 7 hours no matter what time I try going to bed.
You look at obviously the routine, bedtime routine.
Yeah.
Does play a big role. And then you can look at any other factors that might be affecting your sleep, whether it's noise, light, the amount of caffeine you're having. Generally, that shouldn't be an issue if you're falling asleep.
But yeah, exactly. You've got to look at all those external factors, really. Sort those out first. Really focus on getting that bedtime routine, because if you set yourself up that bedtime routine and you tell your body, okay, it's hard because everybody's got busy in different schedules, but if you tell your body, okay, I'm going to do this at this time and this at this time, which will ultimately lead to me going to bed at this time, your body will want to go to sleep at that time.
And also, like, say if you have a different night where you come home later, and just not letting that just completely throw everything out of the works. Like it's easy to, if you get home 2 hours later, to then chill for another hour, and then instead of going to bed at 10, you're going to bed at midnight.
Yeah.
But you just can't let one little thing out of your routine completely write off everything else.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Because I know I do.
Yeah, we all do it. It's natural, but it's easy to do it. But you got to try to fight and try to get back into your normal routine.
Exactly. And also one more thing is he's saying that he has a hard stop at 7 hours. So it's okay. You can't get more than 7 hours of sleep. You've established that. And if he's thinking about it, then it's obviously affecting his sleep and has detriment towards his sleep. But if you can't get more than 7 hours, okay, how can we utilize that 7 hours as best as we can when we're asleep? Yeah. So how can we make sure that that 7 hours of sleep is as efficient as it can be? So if you really can't get more than 7 hours of sleep, try and utilize the 7 hours you do get in bed.
Yeah, quality sleep, and try not to be too negative about how many hours. You always hear that you need to get 8 hours sleep, but just think about what you did get, and just try not to let that ruin the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Because it can be easy that as soon as you wake up, calculate how many hours sleep, and then automatically just shift that, it's going to be a shit day, I'm going to be so tired.
Yeah.
My day's fucked. But if you can just try, get on with it, and like you said, focus on the quality of sleep, I think that can play a big role.
Yeah. Which is obviously a problem with wearables as well, because wearables are so important at the moment, and like you've spoken about before, waking up and your wearable says you had a shit sleep, loser, like you're fucked for the day.
You're a loser.
Like, that's not good. So you can utilize wearables as well, and the information and data it provides you to help improve your sleep, but also at the same time you can rely on it and become heavily dependent on whether or not it tells you the day or not.
And then you bought an item like that to help you out, but ends up playing the negative role where it ends up playing with your mind or whatever, and then it's just a spiral. So
so in my case, when I was at one stage, I was only getting like 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night. It was really bad. So I thought, you know what, I've got to really lock in here, and it's the first time in my life I had to really focus on getting good sleep. So I put in like a proper bedtime routine, had a really good strategy going to bed, and then I bought the Oura ring, and that really helped with like providing me data and mostly seeing results. So it went from 3 hours of sleep a night restless to like, okay, you got 3 good hours, like you're getting 4 hours of sleep, you're getting 5 hours of sleep. And seeing that data is like a great motivation to help with you continuously improving that and continuously striving for better sleep. So there are times where wearables can be really beneficial, and there's times where they can actually be quite the detriment to your life, and that's up to you, the user of them, to...
You just try not to get too involved and caught up.
Yeah.
If you did have a shit sleep, like, it's not the end of the world.
Exactly.
You can fight on.
Yeah, you're not going to have a perfect sleep every night. Nobody does. But
and then to also help with the quality, you can also get like the accessories.
Yeah.
Some the big things about mouth tape at the moment, nasal strips. They're not for everyone. You don't have to get it. But personally, I use the strips. They help me out. They might help you out, but don't feel like you have to get it just because you see everyone else using it. But if you are someone who's struggling with sleep, maybe trying something along the lines of that, or an eye mask, whatever might help.
Yeah, and a lot of trial and error as well. So try these things. If you really struggle like with improving your sleep, then there's no harm in trying these things.
Yeah.
Question 3. How do I gauge my workout programming to fit night shift? You just got to manipulate it as much as necessary according to how you feel and how your work is.
Yeah, and just trial and error.
Yeah.
Figure out what is the best time for you to go. Try it either after work, before work. If it's not working, like you said, or how you're feeling on that day. If you're feeling shit, it's probably not a good idea to go train. And then with the caffeine side of things, so you're not going to have a coffee after finishing a 12-hour night shift. So maybe you go straight to sleep, wake up. You might not still be feeling great, because I don't think anyone that does night shifts feels relatively great. But I've never had to do it. I'm quite lucky. But maybe have some of that caffeine, go to the gym, and then go to work. I think that would be a better routine than slogging out a sesh after work. I don't know. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't think I could either. That's it. You just got to figure out specifically what works for you. So if you know you've got night shift and after your night shift you're not going to feel good and you're not going to want to train, then logic would tell you to probably train before your night shift. And then it's all a matter of essentially orchestrating your program according to the way you feel at the time. So you could have realistically your ideal program, like your perfect one, your like goals program, and then you can have something for like, okay, I'm feeling terrible, and this, when I'm feeling absolutely terrible, this is the bare minimum I got to get. And then depending on how good or bad you're feeling, that'll oscillate between the two, and you'll try to find like a good common middle ground for how you're feeling. So if you're feeling like not too bad, you can kind of chase it. If you're feeling good, like with any program, we always say if you're feeling good, then chase it. Chase good training. And if you're feeling bad, then obviously adjust accordingly, because you're not going to hit PRs on a day where you're feeling terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
And on a day where you're feeling great, you're not going to want to undertrain. So it's all about taking a different approach depending on how you feel, and then utilizing the way you feel.
Pretty much like using RPE. On how you're feeling and modifying the intensity. If you feel shit, take it back a bit.
Yeah.
If you're feeling up for it, like you said, go ham. And then also the amount you're doing.
Yeah.
You can modify it in various ways. It's not just like you got to modify it all this way. You've got to modify it that way. Just respond to how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And then, but then flipping it, like we were talking about before, sometimes you just got to have that dog in you.
Yeah.
And you got to grind out a sesh. If it's something that you really want, like if you just keep neglecting it, you're not going to improve on it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it might not feel great, and you just got to do that sesh. But who always feels great, so.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I felt 100%. Literally like 100% awesome. But that's it. There's a very fine line between like changing your approach to training according to how you feel, like relative to how you feel, to get the most effective and efficient training, compared to maybe not feeling that great, but then you just got to fucking go after it.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee so many athletes, bodybuilders, stuff like that, of course they're not feeling good every single session.
Yeah.
Of course they're not.
Like
But
Game 7, Michael Jordan, like, I feel hell good right now.
yeah, but you got to get after it sometimes, and that's where you got to find that fine line between like I just said, effectively training according to how you feel, and then like sometimes you just got to go after it.
Yeah.
You got to have that dog in you. Question 4: best tips for recovery.
For general recovery?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the main two that we always harp on about are sleep, and then obviously your diet. Probably the main two factors. And then third one, I always think about your mind.
Yeah.
What you find is good for yourself, whether it's going for a walk, watch movies, ice baths, saunas, anything that you enjoy.
Anything that helps you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you like, that's it. You got to feel good. You got to be happy. Issues live in your tissues. So if you're upset, if you're irritated, like stuff like that, then chances are you're probably not going to be recovering as well.
Yeah, like watching like, recovery, like just chilling out on the couch all day, won't make me feel great. So I'd rather if it was a recovery day, to go out, do something.
Yeah.
Even just like playing like a game of spike ball. Ideally, it's probably not the best if I'm really focusing on my recovery, but if it's going to make me feel great, I think that'll do me a lot better.
Yeah, the feel good part. Like, for example, alcohol is objectively bad for recovery.
Yeah.
Like inflammatory, all that kind of jazz. However, like while I've been injured recently, I've actually used alcohol as a tool to help with my recovery. So like obviously...
It doesn't mean you're getting pissed every night.
No. So for example, when you're injured, say for example, you can't stop thinking about your injury, you're really like upset about it and all that jazz. I went out with some friends and we had like a couple drinks, and then next thing you know, I'm not thinking about my injury at all. I'm socializing with them, I'm having fun, and all at the cost of using 2 beers as a tool.
Yeah.
So like Alcohol is an objectively bad thing for recovery. However, it can actually be a tool that you can utilize to help yourself recover, exactly like Sam just said, with making sure that you feel good.
Yeah.
And I personally believe the two pillars of recovery is nutrition and sleep.
Yeah.
But I honestly think the third pillar is just managing stress appropriately, like you said, feeling good, and just avoiding unnecessary stress.
Yeah.
So your necessary stresses would be like, say, finances. You've got to pay bills like your mortgage. You've got to pay your car rego, stuff like that. Potentially, you could have like a sick family member or a family member dies, which is terrible, but it's unavoidable. It's going to happen. You want to try to manage those as best as you can, and then you want to avoid avoidable stress, unnecessary stress. Going out and getting pissed and like drunk, having bad relationships with people, you know, like unnecessarily spending heaps of money, and then just all these things that will put you in a bad position and cause you stress that, to be honest, is avoidable, and you don't actually need to deal with that stress. That's going to help you heaps with recovery.
So true. Well, that's a wrap of episode 1
of the SJ's podcast, powered by SJ. So world-class programming, you've got group sessions, you've got access to a community of like-minded people, and much, much more, all for less than $1 a day. If you want to get stuck on that and you're interested in that, feel free to sign up. We've got a 7-day free trial, so it will cost you nothing even to trial it out.
And you can either do a 3-day full body split or a 4-day upper lower split.
And if you have any questions about the podcast, like the ones we've just asked, and you want to ask some yourself, feel free to DM us. Or if you have any other questions about the podcast, just let us know, and hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.